Okay, folks, away we go. Away we go indeed. This is episode 880. It is Blind Magic in Alice Springs, and I am your host, Murray Stewart. I have two daughters, and I'm very, very concerned about what's going on in the domestic violence space. I am. It's tragic, it's a disaster, and it's absolutely unacceptable, and it is a national emergency, no doubt about it. The rate that women are being killed, murdered, is absolutely unacceptable. I also have two sons, and I'm concerned about them as well. I'm concerned because it does appear that young boys and young men are being marginalised these days. They are. You know, with almost next to no role models, male role models in the education system, and with maleness being considered almost as a demon these days. I am concerned about my young lads, and I can't help but put the two together. It's not lost on me that if you marginalise anybody, eventually the cracks will appear. Of course, my sympathy lies with the families of women that have been lost. Absolutely. A murder has spin-off effects that are unbelievable and can almost destroy communities. But as I said, with the marginalising of men these days, we are seeing men resorting to violence. And we are seeing men not only being violent toward women, but also being violent toward one another and toward themselves. The suicide rates amongst men is unacceptably high. So what do we do about it? That's the big question that needs to be answered. What are we going to do about the violence toward women and violence in general? Well, I'll tell you what we can't do. We can't turn this into a gender war. I think that would be the absolute last thing we need, and it hasn't worked. And it continues not to work. I truly believe if you make angry men even more angry, then you create a worse problem. And so it is happening. It is. But I do believe we need to strengthen the bail laws. Definitely need to strengthen the bail laws. I mean, the way in which the revolving system is working at the moment is unacceptable and is leading to deaths. It is. And magistrates need to be held to account. In fact, I would say that the magistrates need to start being accountable for their decisions. If they do release someone who then does go out and commit a murder, surely there needs to be consequences upon them. I know we want to keep the judiciary independent from politics. I understand that and I accept that. But police are also independent from politics, and they certainly have to take accountability for their actions, good, bad or otherwise. So why shouldn't members of the judiciary? Yeah, it is getting to that point. It is absolutely getting to that point. I also believe that when it comes to domestic violence, there should be cool-off centres set up for men. I do. You know, places where a bloke can go to safely blow off some rage. Yeah, just sit down with another bloke, get it all out. Maybe there be a physical zone where he can, use a punching bag or whatever. I don't care what the mechanism is, but it's just unacceptable that he should then be able to return home still angry and take it out on his wife or children. I do believe there should be centres, zones, areas where a man can express himself freely, swear and carry on, get it all off his pluck, and perhaps release his tension without hurting anybody. Yeah, we've got to think laterally. We truly do. Because what's going on at the moment with our girls and women being murdered and our boys and men being marginalised is causing our youth to crumble in so many ways, leading to the crimes we see on our streets, etc., etc. There are so many consequences of the breakdown of our cultural and societal values. And it's got to stop. It has to stop right here and right now. My fear is this is going to become a gender war. And that will be the last thing we need. In fact, it would be like throwing kerosene onto the fire. It must be avoided at all costs. And so for those who are out there protesting today and beyond today, just remember that. Not all men are bastards. In fact, the majority of men love women, respect women, and would protect women in a heartbeat, no question. So to throw all men in together with the worst common denominator would be a very, very bad mistake and will simply lead to more violence. Violence we absolutely do not need. Yeah, let's have not just think about this, but have conversations about this, but let's do something, and let's do something right here and right now. So for me, stricter bail laws and cool-off centres for blokes and more mental health services for blokes, by the way. It's very, very lacking. If a guy is about to snap, he should be able to call on someone within the hour in order to diffuse what might occur. There's a lot to be done, folks, and it is a national emergency and it's got to stop. It's absolutely got to stop. This has been episode 880, a Blind Magic Communications production.